Every one of us has his favorite lens. It doesn't matter how many lenses do you own, there will always be that one glass that stands out from all the others. That one lens you can't live and work without. In my case, this lens is the 16 to 35 f2.8. So, why do I like this lens so much? Why do I use it in every single one of my projects? And why, in my opinion, you should consider to try one of these? We will discover it in this video. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Stefano and I am a filmmaker and photographer from the Italian Alps. If you don't want to miss any other content that I will be uploading on this platform, be sure to subscribe to my channel and to activate the little bell. Now let's start with the video. When I am speaking about 16 to 35mm lenses, I am speaking about a type of lenses. You can find the 16 to 35 from Sony, from Canon and from many other brands. But personally, I use the second EF version of the Canon Swan. There is also a little disclaimer that must be done. This kind of lens has a completely different usability if you shoot on a full-frame camera or on a camera with crop sensors. In both of these cases, this lens is a must-have, in my opinion. If you use a full-frame camera, a 16 to 35mm is a perfect wide-angle lens. 16mm is an extremely wide focal length, perfect to shoot landscapes and interior videos and photographs. However, if you shoot on a full-frame camera, these kind of lenses are wide-angle lenses and just wide-angle lenses. I have nothing against wide angles. Indeed, I think with a wide-angle lens you can shoot very unique looking and cool frames, and they are perfect to go alongside, for example, a 70 to 200, to alternate wide-looking clips with compressed ones. However, for full-frame cameras, a 16 to 35mm lens is not an all-purposes lens. If you shoot on a full-frame camera, my suggestion is to try a 24 or 28mm to 70mm that are a lot more versatile for that kind of sensors. However, to complete the range of focal lengths, you should consider having a 16 to 35mm, a 24 to 70mm and a 70 to 200mm to cover all the range of focal lengths that you have to use, the 90% of the focal length you will find yourself to use in real situations. What about you? Which is your favorite lens of all time? Please let me know it in the comment section below. Speaking about me personally, I shoot mainly with a Canon R7, which is an APS-C camera. As I've said before, I use this lens for every single one of my projects, often alternating it with my 70 to 200mm. I like to use my lenses, my zoom lenses, as they were prime lenses. That's why when I shoot with my 16 to 35mm, I shoot either at 16 or at 35mm. I hardly use the other focal lengths between those two. That's because I am good at composing with the 16 and with the 35mm compression. Even though I know that I can zoom in and zoom out if I want, I still prefer to be able to move myself into space to get the right frame using that specific kind of focal length and by consequence of compression. Let's pretend that I want to take a portrait of a person with the 35mm compression, but I am too close to my subject. Instead of use the zoom function, if I know that I want it at 35mm, I prefer, and I suggest you to try this, I prefer to move myself in the space to get that specific frame that I want with that specific focal length that I desire. And that's extremely useful once you understand how to do this. The best way to learn this is by making an effort at the beginning, when you're beginning, to use only prime lenses like a 35mm or a 52mm. Those lenses are often also cheaper than zoom lenses, cheaper and brighter than zoom lenses. So if you want my advice, give to those glasses a chance. However, this is a very big topic, so I will go into it in more detail probably in a future video. 16mm is a great focal length for landscapes. I shot mainly events videos and outdoor videos, so I find often myself to use wide-angle lenses. It is an extremely useful way to show the place in which you are in, whether it is a valley, a mountain, a square or an arena. This is fundamental because when you are doing a video, when you are planning a video, you need some shot to contextualize your video, to make the viewer understand where we are. If you are shooting the video of a sold-out concert, for example, it will be a great idea to make some clips of the entire audience with a wide-angle lens. The only problem in videos is that wide-angle lenses make even the most expensive ones create at the border of your frames some very ugly distortions that can create big problems when you are moving your camera freehand. How can you avoid this problem? Only with practice or by purchasing a gimbal. 35mm is definitely my favorite focal length. You can shoot details, portraits without having too much compressed clips. 35mm is that kind of focal length that lets your clips breathe. It is just wide enough to fit in everything that needs to be seen. For example, I really like to use a 35mm lens when I'm shooting interviews on my main interviews camera. And I don't like to say that because I don't like how it sounds, but 35mm it's a great lens to get a cinematic look, in my opinion. This is also the closest focal length to the human eye, and that's why for us it's so versatile and pleasing. If I have to use only one focal length for the rest of my life, it will be a 35mm, without any doubt. However, using just a 35mm sometimes is not enough. That's why for some kind of details I still like to pair this lens with a 70 to 200mm to shoot some kind of particular portraits, particular details, etc. Personally, if I have to choose, having two cameras, one with a 16 to 35mm and another one with a 70 to 200mm, I think is the best thing when you're shooting documentaries and events, when you have not so much time to change lenses. In fact, I really like to use this couple of lenses for my projects, even if I have to choose just one of those, I will definitely prefer the 16 to 35 because I consider it a lot more versatile than a telephoto lens. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, I invite you to hit the like button and to let me know in the comment what do you think about this kind of lenses. See you in the next video. Ciao!